Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night to you, wherever you may be watching me from tonight or wherever you are tuning in from. My name is Thelma Titi Ahamba, and I want to welcome you to tonight's episode of Chat with Themmy. Instagram is always slow. I want to welcome you to tonight's session of Chat with Themmy or tonight's episode of Chat with Themmy. And guys, as always, they were talking about something really interesting and something we may know about or we may not know about and stuff. How do you call it? So tonight we're going to be talking about. Let's go. Let me show you. Tonight we're going to be talking about sometimes help is toxic. I don't know if you ever come across this, but definitely we're going to be deep diving into this conversation tonight, and I'm going to be sharing my perspective as always. Chats with Temming is meant to inspire, educate, and empower, okay? And every discussion that's held on here is solely for that purpose, irrespective of whatever it is. So tonight we're looking at how helping can be toxic. It's great to help. It gives a great feeling when you help people, when you're there for people. But sometimes, like to say, too much of everything is a mess, right? And you can only agree with me that sometimes too much of everything is a mess, irrespective of what that is. So I'm going to be talking about how too much help can sometimes be toxic, all right? And then it takes away from the positive impact that we're trying to make with our assistance that we're rendering or the assistance that we're receiving, whether you're on the receiving end or you're on the other side of the spectrum, giving help to someone or rendering help to someone, helping. The way in which you help someone could have a positive side of it, or it could become toxic in the process. And I want us to take a look at this. Helping other people in general, right? It's a noble act. It's an altruistic act. Like it's great. It makes you feel good. It makes you give to life. It makes you, impact people's life in a very special way. It fosters relationships and help us, you know, community. It builds community. You can be very deeply fulfilling when you're offering help and also when you're receiving help. There's blessings in helping people. Like the Bible said, it's blessed to give than to receive. Okay. So definitely helping people is a great thing. That's the positive side of it. All right. When we're helping people, the essential aspect of helping is to create a supportive community or a supportive environment. Asking for help similarly shows somewhat humility and the ability to recognize your own limitation. All right. When you ask for help, sometimes it takes a lot of courage for people to reach out to other people for help. Okay. It takes a lot of courage. It takes huge amount of courage sometimes for people to reach out for help because not everybody is used to asking for help. Not everybody feel comfortable stepping out of their comfort zone to ask for help. All right. So that's a positive side of help. But here's how help can be toxic on the other end. All right. I'm going to paint a scenario for you. Okay. So, say for instance, I have my baby. There are different stages in baby growing. And then, no matter how much you love your baby, you cannot sit up for your baby. No matter how much you're in love with your baby, they're so chunky, they're so cute, they're so blah, blah, blah. You cannot crawl for your baby. Say, for instance, for every time, uh, uh, um, sometimes my baby's trying to learn how to crawl, and then the cousins will be like, "Oh, Auntie Peace, he's bending his leg, he's gonna hurt himself." And I'm like, "No, there's some things in life you cannot do for someone. All right, there's some things, no matter how much or no matter what that is, there's some stuff that just do not need other people to help you to do that. Okay, so sometimes the best help someone can give you is not helping you at all. So don't always, have this negative reaction to someone who you are in need and they were not there for you. Remember when they were not there for you, remember that courage it gave you to be able to bounce back by yourself or with the little that you had to be able to get back on your feet. Sometimes someone not helping you is meant to help you in another way. Okay. But let's see how help can be toxic in this context. Okay. Help, too much help, let me put it this way, too much help can breed over dependence. You do not want to get to a place where you are at the mercy of man. And when I say man, I mean human. It could be a man, it could be a woman, it could be whatever. All right. You do not want to get to a place in life where you are at the beck and call of someone else. That's not a good position to be in. Okay, that's not a good position to be in, because sometimes that's where you really see, my Nigerians will say, you will see pepe, they will show you shaky. Okay, so sometimes when someone's helping you too much, it becomes like, oh, who's calling me? Oh, is that one? I know he wants to beg me for money. When individuals become when people become over reliant on other people for help, they stop developing their own skills and their abilities. All right. This kind of dependency can hinder your own growth. It can hinder your personal growth. It can hinder your own self sufficiency. You feel like you're not enough. You feel like you need someone to be able to do it. You feel like you need someone to be able to make it. Oh, without this person help, I'm not going to make it in life. Without the only persons who help you should be concerned about is the help of God. Don't get nobody in that position where you're looking up to them like you're looking up to your heavenly Father. Don't give nobody that credit. Don't get nobody in that position to look at you that way. All right. So too much of help, when you're over reliant on someone, when you're over reliant on people, guess what? You don't even look within yourself to see, what do I have? What can I offer? How can I fix this by myself? How can I use the little resources I have? How can I leverage it to be able to bounce back to where I want? All right. Over dependence can also place undue burden on the helper. You get so anxious, or someone that's supposed to help you, instead of it feeling joyful to render help, it starts leading to resentment. You're calling the person's not picking your call, you're messaging them, they're ignoring you, they're being resentful. And then it kind of screw up the balance in your relationship. Okay, it's like, oh, this one, they only call me when they need something, or this person, oh, they don't even check on me, they don't even want to know how I'm doing and stuff. They just want to take and take and take from me. All right, so over dependence is not good. That's how sometimes help can be toxic. Okay, another thing you want to look at is, from this one is from the receiver standpoint or from the recipient standpoint. Now let's look at the giver standpoint. There's manipulation and control. Have you depended on someone for something and the person is telling you, do my bid, or do XYZ for me, or do XYZ, or do this and that? Sometimes it's even against your own will, sometimes it's against your own values. But because it's like, well, if I don't do it, this person's gonna feel bad. They're always the one helping me whenever I'm in need, or they're the only person who, can listen to me every time I call. So let me just do it for them one time, won't hurt. And maybe that thing is pinching you. All right. So over reliance on help can make the person vulnerable to manipulation. Sometimes because one uncle or one auntie is helping you, and then they're being messy with your kid, and you can't say nothing because, oh, they're just joking with you, even when you can see clearly that it's dangerous. You're unable to protect your kids from harm because the person is in the position to be of help to your family. Then the person starts to manipulate and control stuff around you simply because of the help they were rendering to you. That's where help can become toxic. On one hand, you, the helpless, or you, the recipient, you become over dependent. Now you start lacking confidence in yourself. You don't even believe that you can hustle to make it happen, or you can use your brains to make this work, or you can use the little resources you have, or you can even leverage your network, offer value and receive value in return. Sometimes over dependence can cause that. And then from the helper standpoint, we all have a chapter in our lives that we don't read aloud. We all have something about us that we whisper when we're ready to talk about it, or nobody even knows about that. And then guess what? Because you're overly dependent on someone for something, now you're you're being used, or you're being manipulated in doing their bid. Or someone's talking to you, or if you don't do this, I'll take what I got for you, I'll take it back from you, or I'm not going to pay your kids school fees no more, or I'm not going to give you money for upkeep, or I'm not going to do this for you. Even in a relationship, right? It's great the man is the provider of the home, but sis, you do not need to wait for your partner to be able to buy paste, or to be able to get grooming materials, or to be able to, sometimes you want to lick ice cream. You don't need to wait for your partner to buy you ice cream. It feels good using your own money to buy yourself ice cream. It feels good using your own money to take yourself shopping. All right. Because you do not want to be over reliant. I'm not saying don't ask for support. I'm not saying in any way be disrespectful to your partner. But doesn't it feel good knowing that I work for this and I'm going to let myself experience what I make other people experience? I want to help myself. I want to take myself to do this. I want to, spoil myself a little bit. I want to do this for myself. I want to make myself feel good. I want to take myself to the salon. I want to take myself to the masseuse to go and get some massage because it's been a long week. It's been a long month. It's been whatever for you. Okay? You don't want to be in that position where when you sneeze, somebody should come at your ear. That means the person will tell you, if you want to sneeze, the person look at you this way and you're like, oh, let me hold my sneeze. No, you don't want to be in that position. All right? If the helper has an ulterior motive, they will definitely exploit your situation to exert control over you. That's what's going to happen. All right. If that person has been looking for a way to get into your space and have some form of control over you, if you're always going to that person, oh, this person's so generous, this person's so this, if they have an ulterior motive, it's only people who do not have that ulterior motive or kind of have some ulterior motive that will not take advantage of the situation. But almost all the time, someone has an ulterior motive, they get to take advantage of the situation because, like, well, if I don't breathe, she will not cough. If I don't do this, your family will not do this. If not for me, where will they be? All right. So sometimes help can be toxic. So, in as much as it's true that no man is an island, you do not need to be completely reliant on someone or on people. The only person you should be completely reliant on is God. He and only Him. All right? Should be that one you be completely reliant on because He's your creator, He's your maker. Okay? Now let's look at another one. This dynamic in manipulation and control, it can push the dependent to act against their own will. Like I said, sometimes they're telling you to do something and it's against your value. Maybe you went to someone who's always loaning you money and they're like, you know what, send your 5-year-old to go get me some cigarette. And you are not in for cigarette. You don't teach your kids about cigarette. You always talk to your kids that cigarette smoking kills and stuff like that. And now this person is telling you, I'm gonna give you this, but then I need your child to do this for me, or I need you to do that for me. Then they start giving you conditions that they know, okay, they just want to push your button and see if you'll not do it. Then they start making statements like, so after all I did for you, or I'm the only person who always show up for you to help you. And if I ask you to do X, Y, Z for me, you can't do it after all. Like, then they start to make you feel guilty. All right. They start to make you feel guilty for the help that they've rendered to you in the past, the help that they're rendering to you now, or anyway, in any form of help they're giving you, they start to make you feel guilty about that. All right. So simply because you want to maintain that flow of assistance, guess what? You start to do stuff that's against your will. You start to do things that you on a normal day will not stand for. Okay. Now let's look at some examples of toxic help. All right. Let's look at financial dependency. So someone continually bills out another person financially without encouraging them to become financially independent. Like every time you cough, your mommy sneezes money. Every time you sneeze, your daddy pushes out money from his pocket. Every time you do this, your elder sibling give it to you or your partner give it to you. Now, for each time you snap your finger without reality checking you in, you think I should get it. And if I don't get it, I'm gonna have to look for another means to get it, whether by hook or by crook. Guess what? Another thing is you're always going to someone for help. You're always going to someone for help because they'll say, "Oh, a friend in need is a friend indeed." Great. I do not deny that fact. But sometimes if that person have an ulterior motive, guess what they're gonna do? Oh, I'm gonna give you the money, but you need to do X for me. And in the case of a man and a woman, we already know sometimes how it goes, right? And then they start to take advantage of you emotionally. They start to take advantage of you physically. They start to exploit you in every way possible. All right. And then they start to now control your decisions. In my place in Liberia, there was cash violence. Sometimes people try to use money to control certain surroundings, to control people's decisions, right? Because you're overly dependent on someone for something. All right. And that's where help can become toxic. Now let's look at another example. Emotional support. You're always somebody come to you, you're always listening to them, you're always being there for them. You don't encourage the person to, to develop their own coping mechanism or to seek professional help. It can also it can also breed dependency. And then the person now who's in that space, maybe they're going through their own cycle of life, and then you're always coming to them. So sometimes it's a bit overwhelming. And for someone who's a natural helper, they may not be able to tell you, but then sometimes it becomes a little overwhelming. So sometimes the person will try to, thanks, Choma. Sometimes the person will try to, push away, or the person will try to, try to avoid certain things. Oh, this person, they called me, and the way they're sounding on the phone, they're sounding down. They're gonna drain the life out of me. I don't think I can do this tonight, or I don't think I can do this today, or myself needs someone to lean on at this moment in my life. You don't want to get to that space. You want to, you want to develop your own coping mechanism to help you get the emotional support you need. You're feeling frustrated about something, you're feeling downhearted about something, you want to be able to develop your own. And then sometime in the case of a male and a female, women always would look for a safe space, someone to talk to, someone to just listen and stuff like that. And then sometimes that can be misinterpreted by the male figure, whether it's a bestie, whether it's just a friend, whether it's whoever, by that male figure. And sometimes they try to misunderstand what that person is needing from them. And then sometimes we know how it goes. Then it looks like, oh, because the person is in a vulnerable state, you make it look like you care for them and it's just beyond emotional support. Meanwhile, it's just down to something and then you're not going to be there anymore. All right. So instead of being that safe space, now you cause them more pain than being their safe space for them. All right. So do not be emotionally deep too. Like, don't just be overly and emotionally dependent on someone. It could go sideways and you may not like the turn out of it. So in any way, do not be completely reliant on someone. If you're frustrated, go talk to God. If you need something, go. If you need to find money, go look for skills. Go look for a value. Check within yourself. What can you offer for money? Okay? And position yourself to start getting there. It's okay to ask for help once in a while. I'm not discouraging you not to ask for help. I'm just saying, do not put yourself in a position where you're vulnerable and then people start to exploit you in the name of helping you. It's wrong because it could easily go sideways. All right. It could easily go sideways. And before you know, you're doing what you wouldn't be doing in the first place. You're doing something that's completely unlike you. All right. Now let's talk about another one, another common one. We may or may not have experienced it. Workplace assistance. You keep going to this colleague, or you're continually doing your colleague work for them, and then always the person is depending on you. Maybe, sometimes people are not like tech savvy, so they're gonna come to you to say, "Oh, can you do XYZ for me? Can you also do XYZ for me?" And then you're like, always going to the person instead of always going to someone to do work for you. Tell them, "Can you show me how to do this?" If you come to someone with that character, with that attitude to say, "Can you show me how to do this?" the person will be more receptive. But if it's always, "Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Can you do X for me? The next time, can you do Y for me? The next time, can you do Z for me?" Guess what? They're gonna resent you. And that could foster a toxic work environment, because it's like people now starts to look down on you, people now starts to question your genius, people now start to look at you like, this one, I'm sure she bribed her way to enter here, I'm sure he did something to get to this spot. All right, it's okay if you do not know everything, but it's also okay to ask for help for it to be done with you rather than for you every single time. It's okay to ask for guidance than for them to do the entire thing for you. All right, because you don't want to find yourself in an environment that is full of resentment. You don't. Trust me, it's not a sweet space to be in. Okay, you don't want to do that. Now let's go to how you can prevent toxic help. All right, you want to encourage dependence. You're always helping someone financially. How about investing in them or telling them, "I'm gonna do X for you, and this is how it's gonna go." Guys, it's just me multitasking, okay? I'm sorry about that. It's just the mama in me that has to pay attention to my kiddo. But definitely, you don't want to be over reliant on someone, because guess what? They're going to start being resentful. They're going to start, not wanting to help you and stuff like that. Okay, so you want to encourage dependence. Sorry, you want to encourage independence. You want to be able to help them get it done rather than always do it for them. When you're helping, your help should be based on empowering the person to eventually help themselves or even help others. Okay, you want to provide the tools, the resources, and the guidance rather than just do everything for them or just hand them off handouts. You don't want to be handing people handouts. Okay, you want to be able to, okay, this is going to be very short now. You want to be able to set people up for success, not to implement for them and then they take the glory. All right, another thing you want to do is, sometimes I have heard this several times, the people who are asking for the help, they're not going to stop asking for the help, so you need to set boundaries. Even you as a recipient need to set boundaries on when and how can I ask for help. Okay, you want to set clear boundaries to ensure that the person you're helping or the help you're providing does not become like a crutch. Okay? You don't want to do that. You want to make it clear what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do and what you expect the other person to do on their own. Do not just be the Santa Claus of the season and just keep giving and giving and giving. All right? You want to be able to say, "Okay, if you need XYZ, I can do this for you. Hey, boo boo. I can do XYZ for you. Excuse me." No, sorry, sorry. I don't want you to go on here tonight, okay? Right on me. When you want to tell someone, "If you need XYZ from me," I don't, yes, I don't want you to be seen. Okay? Here. Don't put your face. I don't, I can do XYZ, but I cannot do ABC for you. So I need you to be able to do this and I can meet you halfway. All right. You want to be able to tell the person that you want to be able to set clear boundaries. Okay. Now, you also want to foster mutual respect. You want to ensure that the relationship remains balanced and respectful. Okay? You want to make sure that both of your relationship remains a balanced one and a respectful relationship. Okay, so setting these boundaries can help you maintain that mutually beneficial or mutually respectful relationship. Both parties should feel valued and respected. The fact that I'm asking for help should not make the helper to disrespect me, and the fact that this person is asking for help, they should know when and how to ask for help. I'm not going to be in a position to do just everything for them. Okay, now, the next thing you also want to look at is you want to be able, you as the recipient, you want to be able to recognize a manipulative behavior. This person that is helping me, right? What are their demands? Are they telling me to give them something in return? You want to be aware of signs that the help you're providing is not being used to manipulate you. All right. If you feel that your assistance in any way is being taken for granted, you the helper, put some checks in place. And also, if you feel receiving help from this person is putting you in an uneasy or uncomfortable position to be at their beck and call at every single time, you need to put some check in place and you need to reassess the situation to be able to, balance that relationship. Okay, so as I'm wrapping up, while helping people is great, it's a great thing to do, but trust me, you do not want to be at the mercy of another human beings. Almost always it doesn't end well. Sometimes you may be used and dumped simply because, oh, every time you need something, I offer them to you. Okay? And you as well, you want to know that the help I'm giving, they're using it for the right things and they're not just coming to get and get and get. Because guess what? If you're continuing to do something and do something and do something and you're not empowering the person to help themselves, tomorrow when you are down, who's going to help you after you have gone all out for people without empowering them? I hear people say, you know what, in my time of need, sometimes nobody was there for me. Maybe the people you were helping, instead of empowering them, because guess what? Nigerians would say life is like a standing fan. Turn by turn, all of us will receive our own share. So sometimes there's a high here and sometimes there's a low here. So if you're helping people, focus on empowering them so that when your day of low lights come, when your day of low lights come, you can have people around you that you can go to for help. But if you keep rendering help, boy, you want you want to say something? If you keep rendering help and you're not empowering the people around you, guess what's gonna happen? The day you're in need of help, nobody's gonna be there to help you. Not that because they don't want to do it, but sometimes because you did not, they're not empowered to be in a place to help. All right. So sometimes they're not empowered to be of help to you. That's why they cannot help you, even though you have helped to them in the past. Okay. So as I wrap up tonight, thank you so much for joining. Whether you joined from LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram, I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting this journey. Until tomorrow, I'll see you at the next episode. I wish you a good night. I wish you a good day. I wish you a brand new week if you're already into Sunday. And I hope you take this conversation and look at things. What happened? And look at things with a whole new perspective to keep things in check. Remember, too much of help can be toxic on both ends. The helper can become manipulative if they have an ulterior motive, and the one who's receiving the help, who's the recipient, they could be overly reliant. All right, you don't want to be overly reliant on a human being, because sometimes, almost always, it doesn't go wrong. All right, it doesn't go right. Okay, so you want to be very careful of that. I wish you guys all the best and have a wonderful night. Okay, bye bye.